All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, June 19th. We got a 16-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about either plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, if you do want to fade me, all of that is free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of yesterday, a nice bounce back day, which was much needed. There we go, 5-1. We did have 2 pushes that were postponed games. We'll get to those today, but yeah, so 5, 1, and 2. Our wins included the Red Sox money line, a small half-unit play, but then a full unit on the Phillies' first 5-run line. That cashes. Mets Brave first 5 under, full unit. That cashes. 2/3 of a unit on the Rays money line, which that was a sweat. I pretty much counted that as a loss after, the first 4 innings. They were down by 4 runs. They ended up winning it by 4 runs. I think it was 12-8 final score. And then the Astros money line, another 2/3 unit play that comes through. Unfortunately, the ride of the day to Russ. My man had under 4.5 in the first 5 of that Cleveland and San Fran game. It was looking okay, and then a few runs come in the bottom of the 5th, and we all know the feeling of losing the first 5 plays in the bottom of the 5th. I sure as hell do. So, unfortunately, Russ gets the L here. You can see the ride of the day tracker is up to date, and no one's active. It would be yellow in this column here if someone was active because Russ took the L last night. We were looking for a new ride of the day down in the comments. If you guys don't know what that is, just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. Give me your favorite play, or you can use ROTD, by the way. I jump on board with one person's pick each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. Also post you on the tracker. If you win, we continue to roll with your play until you do lose. Once you lose, or I should say if you lose, if someone wants to go on a million streak, then fine. But once you do lose, we have to drop the womp up on you. So that's the only negative, but you still do get the shout out. Shout out to Russ here for a nice play that just had kind of a sour finish there. But what do you say we go ahead and dive into today's slate? Guys, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Really do appreciate all of the comments, all the likes, and new subscribers so much. So yeah, go ahead and smash it. Act like that like button, like I tell you guys, the meatball down the middle, and you're trying to put it over the fence. Smack that thing. Let's dive into game number 1. Cincinnati taking on Minnesota. So far this series has been Cincinnati, right? They've won game 1, 6-5, and then they won game number 2, which was yesterday, 4-2. Today on the mound, we have Nick Martinez going up against Chris Paddack. Chris Paddack was looking actually decent, I guess we could say, until his last start. That was against Houston, in which he went 4 innings, 12 hits, 8 earned. I think 9 came in too, so 9 runs total, 8 of them earned. Nick Martinez has been kind of inconsistent on his end as well. This one's, I could go either way on this one, so I don't think that we really get anything down on this, but what I'm going to say is I'd follow the plus sign. So whoever has the plus money here, especially with Minnesota due for a win, Cincinnati quite literally due for a loss in a sense, because I think they've won 8 of their last 10. Not exactly the best sort of thinking on this, but I'm going to lean towards Minnesota. I don't mind the idea of an over, though. Hoping Minnesota's offense kind of shows up, hoping the consistency stays for Cincinnati's offense, and then neither one of these pitchers is anything that it's to write home about right now. So give me Minnesota and the over, but not sure if we get either of those plays down because this does seem like it could go either way, and I don't know if we necessarily want to roll the dice. With a 16-game MLB slate, there's probably more out there that we love a little bit more, you know what I mean? Don't look now, guys. The Rockies have won 5 straight games. I don't know what that means about the world. Is it ending or something? Because we never saw that happening. I looked out the window and I saw a pig fly. Washington has lost a million straight games. And honestly, you could argue that these last couple games against the Rockies, I mean, games 1 and games 2, the Rockies put up a decent fight, right? Or decent number. The last 2 games, Washington has lost just as much as the Rockies have won. They lost 3-1, and then I think it was 3-1 again, right? Today we have Dollander on the mound going up against Trevor Williams. I've liked Dollander just from the eye test. He's been okay away from Coors as well, but I kind of struggle with the idea of, oh yeah, look at this good spot to get the Rockies. They've won 5 straight games. Talking about a team that should lose at some point. It's the Rockies, right? So it's tough for me. There's no way that I am comfortable with Washington the way that they're batting and the lack thereof at -115. So it would be Rockies or nothing, but it's psycho to go and take a peek at this Rockies team and expect them to win a 6th straight game. I will say I thought it was psycho for them to win a 3rd straight game when they first came into this series. So they're proving a lot of people wrong, but we'll see how long this lasts. I'm going to go Rockies as well as a potential lean towards the under. I don't think either one of these offenses is all that good. We've seen the Rockies offense fade a little bit back to what they were, for the majority of the season. And Washington right now, not hitting whatsoever. I mean, they're a little bit better against righties, but I think that Dollander can kind of hang in there and at least pitch a fairly decent game. The bullpens is what I'd be worried about, so maybe a first 5 under. That's something I can get behind here today. We'll see. Keep an eye on the final plays. All right, in yesterday's video, I said someone needs to make a house call and check in on the Yankees. Clearly, no one did because their offense didn't show up yet again. They've now lost, 6 straight games in 7 of their last 10. They swept the Royals as their only 3 games. They are on the verge of being swept by the Los Angeles Angels, which they beat the Dodgers earlier this year, so I guess maybe they show up for some big games, but I can't see this being, a cakewalk for the Angels here. Rodon on the mound, who obviously is very good. He's fantastic against lefties and righties so far this year, so the lefty-righty splits that we've been dealing with so far, not all that much. And Tyler Anderson's on the other side of things. Yes, the pitchers that we've seen so far for the Angels, you'd think that the Yankees would be able to get to. Kachanowicz, Hendricks, Soriano, even the Red Sox pitchers, right? When it was Dobbins and Bayo back-to-back. The Yankees aren't hitting. I do think that, to close out a series, to avoid a 4-game sweep, this might be a decent spot for them. But again, much like we talked about with Washington, though this Yankees team is that much better, I don't think it's all that, safe to be looking at, a -200 type spot if you're throwing them into a parlay or something like that. So the price is pretty far gone for me. The 2 things that I would say you can probably end up getting to if you really do need the Yankees today. First 5 run line, you're looking at like -150 odds. That's a lot of juice to be paying for a team that stinks right now, but at least it's not minus, 282 like we're seeing for some of the other ones, right? And then you could also potentially pivot to a Yankees team total over is what I would say. I believe we have some nice weather there in Yankee Stadium. Tyler Anderson, obviously not a guy that's going to shut anybody down, I wouldn't say, right? His numbers against the Yankees actually have been pretty good. I will kind of give you that, but ultimately, I just think that this has to come to an end at some point where the Yankees are scoring 0 to 2 runs per game. So right now, in fact, let's take a peek at what their team total is and the odds are. So if we look at their team total over, 5.5 is what you'd need to get to. Yikes. It'd still be the only thing that I'd really want to consider if I had to roll with something on this game. But ultimately, this Yankees team has us all questioning, you know what I mean? So, yeah, probably stick away from this one, but I do think the Yankees win it. So maybe you could honestly justify them as a parlay piece. I originally said no because of that price, but I really think that they win one. But honestly, that's just like a public kind of perception. There's no way they get swept by the Angels. Watch, In terms of a total here, I guess a 9.5 over could be something that I look at. This Angels team finding a way to win games. I mean, they haven't necessarily been the best bats yet, but if they give you 3 to 4 today, and the Yankees do go out there and give you 5, which wouldn't be the 5.5 over, you might be looking at 9 runs, and all you need is one more to come in at some point throughout the game, maybe against that Angels bullpen. So yeah, I guess that's a consideration as well, but you could probably even see it on my face. Like, it's tough to get there. Honestly, the first 3 games here, I do like that first 5 under in Colorado, Washington, but a tough first 3 games that we've gone over so far. All right, Detroit taking on Pittsburgh. This is a makeup from yesterday, right? We have a couple doubleheaders on our hands. So this is Skubal versus Heaney, if I'm not mistaken, and then we have Skeens against, I don't even know if they've determined the pitcher yet. I think Kiter Montero is listed. I would say Tigers in game 1 here. Maybe you could even get away with like a Tigers game 1, Pirates game 2 sort of parlay, maybe in the first 5, just because you have Skubal on one end and then Skeens on the other end. Maybe that's some sort of fun parlay you could throw in. If you guys have been watching for a long time, you know that I really don't love the idea of double headers. The only way that I really do like to roll with double headers are two things. If there's a spot to take it, I guess the first game, because nothing sort of impacted it yet. But even still, the second game can impact the first. But the other one would be, if you do like the underdog any way, shape, or form, you could take the underdog for plus money in both spots, hoping that they at least split, at the very worst split, and you make a little bit of change. If the underdog wins both games, then great, you got 2 plus money spots. So that strategy doesn't really apply here, because obviously Scooble's on one side, wouldn't want to fade him, and then the Pirates are not going to be underdogs on the other end. I know the odds are the same. I think we have that messed up in the graphic, but make no mistake, the Pirates will be favorites with Skeens on the mound in the second game. So give me the Tigers here, as well as maybe a first 5 under, and then once we get to the next game, it's probably just going to be Pirates and first 5 under. So we'll skip through that one quickly when we get there. All right, another doubleheader here, so I guess we can move pretty quickly through this one. We got the White Sox and St. Louis. Sean Burke on the mound in Game 1 going up against Eric Fetty for the Cards. I would say that this is closer to the taking the underdog type thing in both spots. Do I really trust the White Sox against this Cardinals team? No, I can't really say that, but what I will say is this Cardinals offense, I know in Game 1 they scored 1,000,000 runs, right? But prior to that had been really, really inconsistent. So to me, this is probably White Sox or nothing, just because you're getting the plus money. But with the doubleheader there, who knows if the full lineup's going to be out there. I wanted to take a peek at Andrew Benintendi. I mean, what we liked yesterday, right? Andrew Benintendi under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I think with the pitching change, it doesn't fully apply right now. So I'm going to go White Sox and under for this one, maybe first 5 under, because hopefully Eric Fetty can kind of keep doing what he's doing, which is 5 innings of 2-run baseball. And Sean Burke, I do trust, as weird as that is, as much as he's burned us to some degree in this matchup. In terms of what you're going to get out of him, you will get a lot of fastballs and sliders. As long as that slider's working, it's okay. This Cardinals team, though, if you watch them, they crush the hanging and the bad sliders and the ones that don't move. Sean Burke, I do like his stuff. Pause. So, I mean, being able to throw the fastball and the slider could work out today, because he'll mix in that curveball, and they do not hit the curveball. Bottom 5 team against the curveball are the Cards. And then in terms of what we have on the Eric Fetty side of things, the sinker, the slider, and the cutter. Sinker and the cutter being the 2, premier pitchers there, they are 28th and 27th against. The slider, much like the Cards, they can hit if it's hanging and if it's a bad one. So yeah, as long as their sliders are not sucking today, I could see a first 5 under. But it is a doubleheader, making it a little bit weird. All right, Cubs taking on Milwaukee. I guess copy and paste what I said yesterday. I like the first 5 under. We got Jacob Miso Soup on the mound going up against Jameson Taillon. Taillon's been really good this year. Hoping that Misarowski can do what he did in that first start of his career, in which he looked really good. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs, right? And we've seen that fastball. This is a Cubs team that is bottom 5 in the league over the last 30 days in terms of runs above average against the fastball. So, like I said, copy and paste it. I like the first 5 under, putting a lot of faith into a young pitcher, though, against a very good Cubs lineup. I don't think we're going to have the best weather there in Wrigley again. It's obviously not as bad as yesterday, but I think we have, 75 degrees, which is better than the kind of crap yesterday, and winds blowing slightly in. I think it's like left to right in, so towards the first base line. That isn't as good. Like yesterday, I love the fact that we had bad weather. Obviously, the game gets postponed, so sure. I would say later on in the game, the Cubs get the advantage, and you might even be able to argue that this kid might not step up to the occasion again 2 games in a row as the first 2 starts. So give me the Cubs as a money line spot in this one, but I do like that first 5 under still. I'm hoping that this kid is the real deal, which, Brewers fans and people that knew him in the prospect system, knew he was the real deal. And I'm hoping Taillon just does his job, because even if that kid gives up 2 through 5 and Taillon does his job, we could be looking at a nice first 5 under here. All right, real quick, guys, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Sleeper. I've been talking about Sleeper with you guys for years now, right? One of my favorites, if not my favorite DFS player prop app out there. Today, when you sign up, you're going to get this Yamamoto free square, 0.5 points. You also get your first deposit matched up to $100, which are 2 great deals, right? And I haven't even checked this morning, but I bet there's a bunch of different promos live on the app right now. And would you know it, a 50% profit boost right there, right? Then you have a $5 protected play right there, right in the middle of your screen. 30% profit boost right there. Oh, you keep scrolling. Okay, they have a Hill. Was that Jamal Hill, right, for the UFC there? They have him for a discounted line. Mitchell in the WNBA, Donk in esports, don't even know who that is, Simple Esports, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, a boosted promo there for his points line. It keeps going on. Juan Soto, DGT, who's a esports player. So a lot of promos on top of what you have on your screen right now, guys. I swear, if Sleeper's available in your state and you have not checked it out yet, you will regret that. There are so many promos live on the app right now, and that's why we love these DFS sites, right? So go check it out. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment, whichever one is easier for you to find. You can also sign up using code GUYBOSS, and you'll get all of these goodies. So go check out Sleeper, guys. That link, again, will be down below. Let's jump back into these games now. Got a decent chunk more. Next up, we have Texas taking on Kansas City. Looks like it's a bullpen day for Texas as Sean Armstrong's going out there. I mean, in his last start, that was against, I believe it was a really bad team, but 3 innings pitched, 0 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks, no earned. He looked pretty good, but again, 3 innings, he's not going to go too far, and I believe their bullpen, I actually haven't looked at it, but I imagine their bullpen's in just fine standing if they are rolling with this. Yeah, they had 4 guys go yesterday, Armstrong being one of them, but ultimately he only threw 2 pitches, and the other ones really only threw mid-teens. So I do think that Texas, they're going to a bullpen day. Kansas City scoring 6 runs yesterday. Was it 6, right? And winning game 1 and 2 as well. I do think that you probably can take a peek at Texas today. I don't love the odds, though. I still think Kansas City and Texas's offense are somewhat comparable. And if you're getting plus 110 on the Kansas City side with Michael Wacha, who has by no means been good, but at least a normal starter, I do see an argument to get there, but I don't think that Kansas City sweeps this spot. I think this bullpen can handle this Kansas City squad. I mean, bullpen overall, 7th best ERA on the season, 4th in terms of whip, and then 7th best in terms of K to BB. So this Texas bullpen, throwing those guys, not all that terrible. Give me Texas in this spot, but I can definitely see the argument for Kansas City, especially with the plus money. In terms of a total, I don't mind the idea of an under. I think this is like a 4-3 game, no matter who ends up taking it home. Toronto taking on Arizona. What was the score yesterday? It was pretty far gone the last time I looked. Oh yeah, it stayed the same after the 7th. So 8-1, Toronto takes the win. Gosman's on the mound today against Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson, now I will give you, has been pretty damn good, except for that one game he really got, smoked against. I forget who they played, but he's on the road in a bad ballpark. Toronto has Gosman, who is really, really good, but he hasn't had the best of stretches in his last couple games here. But again, he's back at home, and even though he's been like a really good away pitcher in his career, he's been phenomenal at home this year. .99 whip, a FIP of expected FIP of 2.68, average against of 233, but a strikeout rate of nearly 30, and a walk rate on the road at home this year of 2.9. So I do think that he's the better pitcher, obviously. The fastball is a pitch that Arizona hits well, though. So I do think that they might be able to get a few off of him. And then this Toronto lineup obviously hitting again, or I shouldn't even say again, just still hitting in a sense. Maybe a tiny peek at the over here. This seems like it has, a potential of 4-4, and someone's got to score the game-winning run, whether it's in the game or in extras written all over it. So I do think I like the idea of an over. I hate the idea of fading Gosman. That is one of my guys that I like, but I think that Arizona, especially after 1 run yesterday, could put up a decent fight here. Now, you look at his recent games against Arizona, they're pretty good, but you're dating all the way back to, I believe, when he was on who did he pitch with? But it was like 2022 or 2021 that we're looking at. So I don't want to put too much weight into that. What we can put weight into if you are back in Toronto today is the fact that he has some good numbers against the current rosters. The current guys on this Diamondbacks team, never mind just the Diamondbacks, the current guys on the team, he has some really good numbers against. 217 average against a WOBA of just 250, launch angle of 8.9. So sure, if you like that, great. I have a feeling here that Gosman isn't exactly in the best of spots. So I'm going to lean over, but because Gosman's so good, it definitely has a chance of keeping us off of that. If we had to pick a side, much like we've said with a couple different spots here today, I mean, I guess I could see Arizona with the plus money, but, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth in this one. You could probably tell because I do think there are a lot of advantages on the Blue Jays side of things. If this is a high-scoring game, then I think Arizona has a better chance because that means Gosman, the big advantage that Toronto has right now, didn't pitch all that well, and same thing with the bullpen advantage. So if I like the over, I guess I slightly like Arizona too. Ryan Nelson has looked good, so maybe he can compete here. All right, San Fran taking on Cleveland. We have Webb on the mound going up against Gavin Williams. Webb, obviously, I would say, is the starting pitching advantage here, but ultimately, I don't think either one of these offenses are absolutely cruising. I mean, so far in this series, 3-2 win for Cleveland, 4-2 win for Cleveland. I think what we look at here is some form of an under. Now, I like Gavin Williams through the lineup the first time. Webb, you can make the same argument for. The way that I'm going to play this is most likely a first 3 under. Now, let me explain why first 3 versus first 5. First off, I like the idea of getting through that lineup once in a sense versus seeing them a second time, sure. But secondarily, you have to pay for a 4.5 right now in this game. You have to pay minus 160, which 4.5 to 5 innings, there's just that half run of, difference of runs allowed and innings that'll be played. The first 5 under 3, first 3 under 2.5, same sort of difference, just a half run there, right? For minus 145 right now, that's a pretty decent difference if you ask me, especially when I do think that these guys will go out there and be able to pitch fairly well to start this game. So Gavin Williams so far this year, in his road starts, 4-2 to the first 3 under 2.5. Logan Webb, when at home, same exact thing. It's 5-2. So both these guys have trended in the right direction, and I don't think either offense is all that crazy, right? So give me the first 3 under. If you really do want to go first 5 under, I think you're paying a little bit of juice. The 4, sure, the 4 would be a push potential, and maybe if it is really good, then there you go. But even still, I do like the idea of, okay, we'll just score 2 runs in the first 3 innings, which could happen, and we'd still catch this, In terms of a side, it would probably be San Fran or nothing for me. Ultimately, you could probably twist my arm and get me to like a Cleveland team total under, because I do think that Webb is just the recipe that they need here. Cleveland, again, not cruising, and they've won both these games. That's because the Giants didn't score all that much. So Webb backing him is a way that we don't necessarily have to rely on this Giants offense to win it. It's more so go out there and pitch a good game, him in the bullpen type of thing. In terms of player props, I have 2 that I like in this one. Old Faithful, we have Tyler Fitzgerald, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then a guy that we haven't taken anything on this year, but Kyle Manzardo here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Both struggle against the right hand, which is what they're seeing today in both Williams and Webb. And I do like the pitch mix here. Manzardo, not all that great at hitting the sinker. That's Logan Webb's best pitch. And flip it over to Tyler Fitzgerald. You have fastball, slider, curve, all of those pitches. He doesn't hit all that well. So 2 potential player prop spots as well as what we're rolling with the first 3 under in this one. All right, these next 2 will probably cruise through. Chicago, St. Louis, much of like I said before. I don't mind a first 5 under. I don't mind a full game under, and maybe taking a peek at Chicago. You do have a starting pitching disadvantage, I guess I'd say, in this one. You have Mike Vasile going up against Michael McGreevy, but is that really even that much of a disadvantage? Not so sure. So that's kind of when the strategy of maybe you take the underdog in both games comes in. It just so happens that today's underdog is the White Sox, and don't know how much I love that. So, yeah, second leg of a doubleheader. Don't have too much interest in this one. And then the next one, Detroit and Pittsburgh. Like I reminded you guys earlier, the odds, or let me remind you of what I said earlier, the odds here are wrong. This is a Detroit plus the home money line right now. Let me see if I can find that updated line. I think it's like plus 125. So obviously with Skeens on the mound, they're favorites. But, again, maybe we get a little frisky here and go Detroit game 1, Pittsburgh game 2 money line. Let me know in the comments what you think of that, because obviously you have 2 of the best pitchers, if not the two best pitchers in the world freaking pitching, you know what I mean? So backing Scooble and then backing Skeen seems like it could work, but that's well outside of my normal sort of range in terms of how we play parlays. So yeah, do you like the idea? I guess comment, Detroit and Pittsburgh doubleheader or something, let me know, because I do think backing Scooble and then Skeens could be a nice little spot. If we were to parlay those, I'll say what the best odds are right here. Plus 125-ish. I mean, I was thinking we'd get a little bit more, but again, Scooble's minus 300. Could be something that we consider. I don't know if we race to the window to get that, though. Miami taking on Philadelphia. They got Edward Cabrera on the mound for Miami, going up against Chris Sanchez, who's been very, very good. But Cabrera's been very, very good as well. This Philadelphia team comes through for us yesterday. I do think that their offense looks a little bit off. I mean, you could say it's, because of what they had been missing in Harper recently. So, yeah, we'll see. If he's back in the lineup and that type of thing, then that changes things. But I don't mind the idea of both Sanchez and Cabrera looking good here. So a slight lean, and it is slight because Cabrera has the ability to kind of, to blow up on himself. But a slight lean here for me to the first 5 under. You look at this one and it's okay. Well, Cabrera's going to throw the sinker, the fastball, the changeup. Those are pitches that honestly, other than the changeup, I guess, fastball and sinker, 2 pitches that Philadelphia hits really, really well. You have the changeup and fastball from changeup and sinker from Chris Sanchez. Miami hits those fairly well. So yeah, it's weird because I could also see an over happening in this game because I'm kind of thinking that, give me 4-4, 8 runs total, easy because of the offenses. And again, it's a lefty, and Miami's seen a lot of lefties from Philadelphia lately, and they've held their own, at least in that game number, game number game number 2. So yeah, I'm kind of conflicted in this one. I still do think that I would stick to probably backing the Phillies some way, shape, or form because Sanchez has been very, very good. But I don't mind the first 500 if both these pitchers go out there and pitch well. Atlanta taking on the Mets. I do think this is going to be another very good game between these two. And I say another one. Game 1 was close. Was that 5-4, right? Game 2, Mets won 5-0. Chris Sale pitched incredibly, right? Did he pitch into the 9th inning? Yeah, Sale, 8 2/3, 0 earned, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits. I don't think Spencer Strider does that today, but I do like Spencer Strider, right? Like we talk about my guys and whatnot, it's Gosman, Gallen, Strider, Evaldi. I'm probably missing a couple. Cease used to be on the list. Pablo Lopez used to be. But either way, I do think Strider pitches well today. I don't think he's going to do what Sale did. I don't think many people can. But he's been a little bit better lately, right? I mean, he's coming off a really good start. It was against the Rockies, but finally kind of got going. I don't think that this is a spot to back for the odds, though, him entirely. I think they have Clay Holmes on the other side of things that he should be good. He's going to throw a pitch mix that I kind of like in this spot, the sinker and slider combo. The Braves in the last 30 days, just middle of the pack teams against that. What I worry about is the fact that, the fastball, if that's not on for Strider, I think the Mets can get to that. Some of the guys like Soto, Alonso, McNeil, just kind of like the middle of this lineup, right? I guess Soto and Alonso higher up, do have really good numbers against righties, and specifically the fastball as well as the slider, coincidentally. So the pitch mix, if he's not on, he could struggle. And if we do look at his numbers against this current roster, 93 plate appearances against, 21.5 K rate, so nothing, that's just mediocre. 13% walk rate, no bueno. 325 average against, a WOBA of 420. Now, on the other side of things, you do have Clay Holmes, who has some decent numbers. Small sample size, though. 192 batting average expected. An expected WOBA of 348. So maybe he'll pitch well enough to get us to a Mets win here. For the plus money, I think that's the side I'm going to go on. But again, kind of had to give you the spiel about Strider being better because he is one of my guys, and I don't know if I necessarily want to fade one of my guys here. But I'll lean towards the Mets. Maybe Mets team total over, ultimately, is what we can also get to. The bullpen for Atlanta, I do think is gettable. Tampa Bay taking on Baltimore. We kind of talked about this one in the recap version, or the recap portion of this show. So we had Tampa Bay, and I was looking at it, was like 8-4, and I was like, oh man, this game is over. Guess what? They win 12-8. So Tampa Bay came through. That was a nice like -109 full, or what was it, 0.66 unit winner for us. So I love to see that. Today, I don't think it should be any different. I think we go right back to the Rays. Drew Rasmussen in the round going up against Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton, you can say, okay, well, he looked good in his last start. That was against the Angels. Okay, well, the Angels are about to sweep the Yankees. I get it. But still, 5 innings, 10 strikeouts. We haven't seen him 0 earned. We haven't seen him do anything like that, really, against any decent teams. I think Chicago he pitched really well against. That was back in the either early June or late May. Tampa Bay is a team that is hitting, right? These last few games for them, 7, 8, 9, 7, that one. Sure, they did score that one in, game number 2 of the series, but 12 yesterday. Like, this team is hitting. Charlie Morton has some decent numbers against them, but they're Charlie Morton's been around the block. You know what I mean? I think I'm trusting Drew Rasmussen in this spot a hell of a lot more than I do Charlie Morton. Do we, are we able to go out there and absolutely justify the price tag? Maybe you can make an argument there that, that's a little dicey, right? Because taking this Rays team at -1, I think 49 is a little scary. But on some of these exchanges, ProfitX and Nova, you can get them in the mid -120s. That, I think, has some value. I don't love them in the -140s, but most people have those books. So that's how I would consider playing it. In terms of a total 8.5, I think Rasmussen's going to pitch well. I don't necessarily know if Morton is. I'm going to lean over and maybe team total over for the Rays, but it doesn't really correlate with me thinking Rasmussen could pitch well. It also, I didn't even mention that this Baltimore offense, like they did score 8 runs yesterday and lost. This Baltimore offense is looking a little bit better. Maybe it is just a blind over and that's it. Athletics taking on Houston. We've already cashed this now twice. We've had Houston money line in 2 games so far in this series, and they were the 2 good ones that Houston ends up coming through and winning, right? Game number 1, they lost. It was a low-scoring game, but then Houston puts 13 in game number 2 and 11 in yesterday in game number 3. We'll probably be a little bit smaller on this one because I don't necessarily love Colton Gordon, who's pitching for Houston, but I do think he's just as good as Jacob Lopez. Now, Lopez has looked a lot better. I mean, he kind of got thrown into the the ringer there with a couple teams that he faced. I think it was Philadelphia and Toronto back-to-back, and now he's been pretty good. So I do think that people gave this guy a bad rap, but the way Houston's batting, I don't think that there's much reason not to at least sprinkle on them. They're in the last 30 days against lefties. In fact, I'll just show you with the dashboard. Check this out. Last 30 days against lefties. Are you kidding me? Everything but walking. Sure, they're not walking a lot. That's because they're hitting the crap out of the ball. They're not walking. 1 in terms of average WRC plus and strikeouts. 1 on base percentage, OPS, ISO, slugging, and they're hitting a lot of fly balls. So to me, this is a spot in which, yeah, we'll go right back to them. If they lose, we've already made profit with them on the series, but I do think this could be a decent spot to take Houston. The dashboard that you're seeing, I'll plug it really quickly. This is the Guy Boston Sports dashboard. I make this each and every day. Over on GuyBostonSports.com, you head over to the members area. MLB dashboard is what you can click on. I'm already logged in. I have access, so you're going to see the dashboard right in front of you, and you will see that too if you're logged in. You get each and every game broken out in a visual format, pitching data, pitch mix, bullpen data, batting. You also have player data over here, and batting to specific pitches. It's pretty much a consolidation of a bunch of different websites. We've even added weather, which is still kind of in beta right now, but it gives you the temperature and chance of precipitation. You can see that here, but it pretty much consolidates a bunch of different sites, like 7 or 8. And whether I import it or manually update this, it gives you all of that in one place. That's why we call it the dashboard. So if you look early in the morning before work, or right after work before the games start, this is a quicker way of getting that information and kind of leading you down the road. Now it's color coded, which is great because you can see, okay, green, starting pitching advantage, batting advantage over here, like the game that we were just looking at, obvious batting advantage when you take a peek at Houston against this, Athletics team. So if we get to that game, you can see here, okay, a lot of like mediocre numbers, right, in terms of batting versus lefties, because both lefties on the mound today, boom, all those won. So head over there, guys. If you're not logged in, you'll see something that looks like this. It's going to say, hey, you need a membership to do so. Memberships are super straightforward. You have the All Sports Dashboard membership, meaning you get all of our dashboard memberships, all of our dashboards via your membership throughout the year. As long as you keep your subscription active, that is the price you pay. But if you just want the MLB dashboard right there, for now, it is $4.99 per month. Based on some of the stuff that we're adding, we may be upping that. But again, you get in at that price, keep it active, you stay at that price. That's how it works. So yeah, head over to GuyBostonSports.com, consider becoming a member. All right, Dodgers taking on San Diego. Yamamoto against Ryan Bergert. I'd say Dodgers team total over. I don't think you're really going to get the best of prices for that, but that is ultimately what I would take a peek at. Bergert, I don't think is all that terrible. I don't want to sit here and say that, but this is the damn Dodgers we're talking about. You know what I mean? So he's going to throw fastball, slider. That fastball should be something they absolutely tattoo. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dodgers team total over. In fact, I'll get you a line right before we sign out here. Team total over for them, 4.5 is -145. You can get +115 actually for the 5.5. That seems like it might have a little bit of value. That's all I would probably do in this one. But guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment 32 if you made it this far in the video. We've been doing this a lot lately because I do love to see the people that actually make it through and, listen to this annoyance for 32, a half hour plus. Really do appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.